Welcome back to the Avenue, and hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. And now's the time right now to go ahead and start setting up your Christmas fund for next year, unless you overspent for this year. Did some of you all spend too much money this year? Do you still have some debt from these presents for this year? No worries. We're going to talk about how to pay those off as quickly as possible. I don't want you going into next Christmas still paying for this Christmas. Let's try to get these things paid off at least in the first quarter of 2025. Now, without knowing exactly how much you went over, it may be a couple of $100s, it may be a couple of thousands of dollars that you went over your Christmas budget. Because we did talk about having a Christmas budget and a Christmas fund for 2024. But if that didn't happen, let's talk about how to get out of this debt as quickly as possible. You need to focus on trying to get out of this debt as soon as possible in first quarter. You don't want this to linger on and on and on. Now, if you have a budget set up and you have a payment plan and you've already been paying on some other bills, I want you to put some of that on hold. Start paying the minimum amount on those bills because you need these Christmas bills off of your back as soon as possible. If you went over, you need to focus on that amount and getting it done and paid off and over with, because that's where the priority is for right now. Then you can get back to your normal paying down the bills as you were. But pay these off as quickly as possible. And also in your budget, I want you, once they get paid off, you need to go ahead and set up a Christmas fund for next year. However much you want to set aside for next year. This will help you, if not fully pay for your Christmas presents for next year. We don't want to continue this trend of getting in more debt, and trying to pay stuff off. So we want to focus on those things that we overspent. If it was $500, you'll know that you need to set aside a certain amount of money, and I'm going to give you some things that will help you locate where this money is that you need to set aside. But I would say for right now, get this Christmas stuff paid off and off of your back, and then you can go back. And the quicker you get it done, if you can get it done in 1 or 2 weeks, if you can get it done in the month of January, that will be great. It will be done and over with. You can go back to your normal budget and paying off the debt as you had it already scheduled. But let's jump on this and let's focus on it for these first few months of the year. Okay, the first thing that I want us to do to focus on where we find this money to pay off these Christmas bills is you're going to need to trim the fat. Just like you trim the fat off of a brisket here in Texas, you're going to need to trim the fat off of the money that you're spending every month. There are some things that you can cut out for a couple of months, first quarter if you have to, such as look at your subscriptions that you have. If you're going to the gym or not going to the gym, you may want to cut that off for the first 3 months and start walking in the neighborhood or doing something at home. These extra meals, eating out a lot, you're going to need to cut that off. If you're going to Starbucks, cut that off. There's some fat that you can trim that, because it's not life as normal anymore. You're trying to pay down these bills. So there's some things you need to cut back on or totally cut off. Make a sacrifice since you overspent for Christmas. Make that sacrifice, cut back on a few things. And this is not permanently, but temporarily cut back on a few things until you can get this paid off. If you add up how much, if you go out to eat on a regular basis, like every day, every other day or weekends, if you add up how much it's costing you just to go out and eat, you could probably find between $100 to $150, depending on the size of your family, per week as far as going out to eat, because it's that expensive. I've tried to go out at lunchtime and get something for $15 and under. And you all, if you're buying a hamburger, and I don't usually eat fries, but if you buy that hamburger, fries, and a drink or a malt, whatever it is, it's going to be close to $15, if not over $15. Even going to Chick-fil-A, you go to Chick-fil-A and buy the chicken sandwich and what they have to offer, the chicken meal, it's going to be like $12, $13. You know, once they put tax on it and everything, it's going to go over. So it's hard to eat any meal, and you do that 5 times or 10 times, you're at $150 for one person. So if we cut back, buy some salads, eat salad at home, go to the grocery store, buy your food there, come home and make it, eat some sandwiches, cook some soup, make some stuff at home and save that money. But you have to find the money somewhere. So you can't just continue to live like you live and think the money is going to fall out of the sky. It's got to come from somewhere. Cutting back, trimming the fat temporarily until you get these bills paid off is what you want to look at and what you want to focus on, so you can get these bills paid off as quickly as possible in months of January, February, and if you need to go to March, but get them done soon. The next thing we want to look at is boosting your income. If your job is offering overtime, or if you're driving home and you see somewhere help wanted sign and you can go and work part-time somewhere, if you have a special talent that you can bake or shoot pictures or do something like that, be a virtual assistant for someone, that you can bring in some extra money, that's what you need to consider. Driving Uber, driving Fetch, driving Lyft, driving these places where you can go out and make a couple of $100s a week just by doing some extra driving and doing some extra work. And it doesn't take that much time. Me as a notary, I have options. If I want to make $200, $300, $400 a week, I can do that with my notary business. I turn down much more notary business than I accept, because if I don't want to do it, I just don't do it. So, but there's ways that you can make extra money with your talents or just jobs out there, but you may need to find some type of side hustle temporarily again to get these bills paid off, just to get from up under the stress of the Christmas bills that you overspent on. So look for something like that. See if you can boost your income any kind of way. And if you could cut back and boost your income, guess what? Magic will start to happen, and these bills will start to get paid off a lot quicker than you think. Because once they're paid off, you don't have to send money in that direction for those bills that you made over Christmas anymore. So think of ways, sit down tonight, sit down right after the video and try to think of ways how you can make some extra money. If you have some, you may have to sacrifice some time to get this done. But if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do, because, this is the price you have to pay for those gifts that you bought and overspent beyond your budget for Christmas. So get that done. Be responsible. This is what you did. This is what you owe. Get it paid off in first quarter as quickly as possible, so you can jump back on your financial gain and, make 2025 a great year. Pay off your bills, but hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you, because I'm going to bring you gems this year like I did last year, but we're going to get into it because I want you to make this year the best year of your life financially. So stick with me, make a comment, let me know how you're doing. Hopefully you stuck within your budget for Christmas. If you didn't, no shame. People do it all the time, but let's get those bills paid off so we can jump back on our game of making this year a financial success. The next thing I want you to think about, because some of you all are with companies that give bonuses at the beginning of the year or the end of the year. If you got a bonus, I know when I was working, we got a bonus, but we didn't get it until around February or March. But it would still be in enough time that you could pay off your Christmas bills if you wanted to do it at the beginning of the year. What we don't think about when these bonuses are announced or come out, we don't think about paying off bills. We think about what we're going to buy with that money. And I'm letting you know right now, if you want to get your Christmas bills paid off, and it may not be that whole bonus check. If you just went over $1,000 on your Christmas spending, however, that bonus check is going to be $3,000. You can take $1,000 of it to pay off your Christmas stuff. And I would say consider taking the other $2,000 to look at, to see what other bills that you can pay off or pay down before you just go and get in your head, I'm going to buy this with this money. We often plan, we're good at planning how to spend these bonuses, but we're not good at making sure we're getting things paid off when that money comes in. You may not know how much it's going to be right now, but if you did get something at the end of the year, if you've got something at the beginning of the year, you can use this money to pay off your Christmas bills and really use the rest of it, or some of the rest of it, to pay off some of the other bills that you may have sitting out there, just to make, your monthly bills a lot easier for you to manage. But let's not sleep on these bonuses that we're getting from these jobs. Okay, so keep that in mind also. The one last suggestion I'd like to bring up is your tax refund. If you get a tax refund, let's not blow that tax refund and just spend it on, because we'll make plans for the tax refund also, what we're going to buy with that money. But what we want to do, if you file your taxes in March or April, hopefully before April, but if you file your taxes February or March, and that money comes in, go ahead and look at paying off your Christmas bills. That way they're out of the way and you don't have to worry about those Christmas bills lingering on, down into the months into 2025. So what we want to do is whatever windfall money we may have coming in, you may have a birthday in January or February or March. My birthday is in March, but you may have a birthday coming up. And if that's the case and you get funds, if you get money, if people give you money for your birthday, which is a great gift to give, use that on paying off your bills. Just because they give you money doesn't mean that you have to go out and immediately buy something for yourself or spend it somewhere. You will still be doing yourself a great favor if you pay the bills off, because you've already bought something. It may have been bought for someone else, but you still have to make that payment. You'll be getting more back in control of your money that you have coming in on a monthly basis. So what we're looking at is using everything that we have coming in to pay these Christmas bills off, because we want to get them done in the months of January, if not January, February, if not February, March. I don't want any of us going into April with huge bills, Christmas bills that we still haven't paid off. Because if we go into April, more than likely you all will extend it down further into the year, and if we have to go into April, it means that you really overspent on your budget. And once you get these paid off, is the next step is to make your Christmas fund and start putting money in that Christmas fund. But don't put money in the Christmas fund when you owe and paying interest on the bills that you've already made for this past Christmas. So let's do it one step at a time. Pay those bills off and then start your Christmas fund. So when you get to Christmas, it's already done and you have that money, at least some of it, and you won't have to get so far into debt. But if we plan this out, we can do this the right way, so that's what I'm asking you to do. Plan it out, pay it off, then plan out what you're going to do for this coming Christmas, and make this year a whole lot better than it was last year. Now, for those of you who did not go over your budget, stayed within your budget, use your Christmas fund, had a Merry Christmas, bought what you needed to buy, and don't have debt, congratulations to you. You've been listening and you've been working it the right way. If you did happen to go over, it's no shame, but it's something that we need to learn to make sure we're staying in control of our finances. And that's not letting someone else or MasterCard or Visa tell you how much to buy. You stay in control of that, and next year you'll have a better year because you know the things that you have to sacrifice to get those paid off so that you won't linger on year after year after year. Debt is not normal anymore, okay? For 2025, debt is not the norm. Being out of debt is the norm. Getting out of debt is the norm. Having a budget is the norm. Having an emergency fund is the norm. And having your money invested in making more money for you is where you want to be, okay? So we don't know what this year is going to entail, but take some of these tips that I've given you as far as getting out of your Christmas debt and moving on with that Christmas fund and having a better year in 2025. And with that, I will see you in the next video.